This is the Poddy with Serene
and Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
Welcome to the Trim Healthy Podcast. That was me standing in for Danny.
I think it lacked some luster.
Like a Dan vibe. But I have to do it because there's no Danny, because we have no room, because we have guests.
We have locals.
Yeah.
Yokels.
And we don't even have everybody in. We're going to do musical chairs today. Hugh is the gentleman sitting here right now, but we're going to bring two other men in. We have Tracey, we have Rachel, and this is going to be fun because these, as Serene said, these people are local. We're going to talk about kind of how Trim Healthy Mama has been shared naturally among like families, friends, and I know that so many of you...
How it spreads in communities.
Yeah, so many of you listening probably have a similar story about who shared it with you and who shared it with them, and we just want to hear your stories today. So welcome, you guys.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
And so I guess we start off with Rachel. You were the beginning of all this. You know,
She's the seed sower.
You know the what is that game? It's called. I was trying to say beforehand. I was asking Arden, what's it called? It's called 4 Degrees from Kevin Bacon.
You have to be into pop culture. What about half the people that are
6
like me?
Degrees from Kevin Bacon. You've heard of this, something, right? Like you can always trace someone back to someone, and you're the someone, Tracey. So you are the reason we're going to have...
And how did you hear about Trim Healthy Mama anyway, from the get-go? What was it just picked up a book somewhere from the library, or how did it happen?
No, it was a good friend of mine who was on staff with Caleb way back in 2012.
Caleb Company.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And is that your ministry? Is that what you...
Yes. Yeah, that's part-time who we work for and do ministry with. But she just mentioned something to me. I told her about my struggles over the last couple years and my frustrations, like so many women around that 30s, 40s start to experience. And she said, you need to do Trim Healthy Mama.
How many years ago was this?
What was that? 12 years ago.
Oh, wow. So you're kind of one of those originals.
I had the OG book.
All right.
All the information.
Was it the one with the baby on the front? Or had the baby been removed at that point? We started off the first encyclopedia book, the first kind of printings.
It was an encyclopedia book.
Yeah.
And I actually loved it because I have a medical background.
Okay.
So it made sense to me. It all came together as I was reading all the science behind it and your stories. It just made sense. And I was like, of course this is going to work. Yes, it's
so
good.
you didn't even doubt?
No.
What were
I
your
didn't.
struggles at the time?
It was more just, I have been active my whole life, exercising, sports, trying to eat pretty healthy, but all of a sudden things just shifted on me, usually about my mid-30s, I guess. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, what is happening? This is not working anymore. And I couldn't figure things out. So tried a whole bunch of different diets and all kinds of stuff for a couple of years and just was super, super frustrated. And that's when I talked to my friend, and she was like,
it was a friend. It was a friend. It's connecting all the way back, probably many, many kind of layers deeper than what we have here, right?
Yes. And even beyond that, that she had heard about it. It was on her roommate's shelf in her apartment, and she just happened to find it. And
it was so funny too for us because we didn't think that it would get anywhere, like maybe about 5 copies. We just wanted to get this book off of our chest. We didn't put any advertising brain power behind any of it or money, but it was just how it happened. It was just friend in a desperate situation telling a friend, and in a desperate situation telling a friend, and it just kind of spread like that. So it's so interesting to hear.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And I just fully embraced it.
And was it like immediate results for you, or is it for a lot of people it needs some time?
Well, hold on, because you don't look, and none of you sitting here today look like you have had any weight to lose. Was it just like you found that you couldn't eat as much as you used to at that time, or had you gained weight at that time, or because you were obviously athletic?
Yep, I had gained weight, and it was in all the places that I didn't want to gain weight. So I was like, what is going on? Yeah. And I also had noticed that I was tired. My metabolism had definitely slowed down, and It was very, very frustrating.
Isn't that interesting how we can be doing all the right things and all the things that we've been doing for years that have been helpful?
Right.
And we're ticking those same boxes, and then all of a sudden
Yep.
it's like our body betrays us at a certain age.
Well, how
And
were
then
you
we have to
eating?
tweak things.
I mean, if you were kind of an athletic, kind of overall healthy person, how were you eating at that time?
Well, it was still in the place where I was combining fats and carbs and just didn't realize that it didn't work after a certain age.
Right.
So I was still eating the way that I always had, adding in the vegetables and all that kind of thing. But all of a sudden, that was no longer working. So got my family on board with it and just really enjoyed, especially dinners. Made really, because I had 3 teenage boys at the time, growing, hungry, and I just knew that they needed the hearty meals and lots of protein.
Yeah.
So that's when we started doing the dinners, especially just to try and get them all on board.
And it's so fantastic that they did come on board, because a lot of our mamas have had to do the journey by themselves.
Yeah.
And they've made it work, and it's great, but it's so wonderful that you've been able to have that family camaraderie.
Well, how did
Yes.
you, and I know eventually you became actually a coach, but how did you kind of present this to your family to not turn teenage boys off a program called Trim Healthy Mama?
Well, I didn't tell them.
Okay.
I didn't
Wise woman.
call it that. And I didn't really label any of the dinners.
Yeah.
I just prepared them like I always did and made sure that it tasted good, which all of the dinners taste delicious. And of course, it's everything that guys at that age would like.
Yeah.
It's meat and it's cheese and
Right.
it's cream and it's, you know, all
I
those
was making
wonderful
those same
things.
dinners for my teenage boys. That's probably why your teenage boys liked them.
Yes. So they taste amazing, and they just didn't know that there was anything different necessarily. And so they got on board with that part of it and just have embraced over the years their own journey with that, what that looks like.
And we'll bring your husband.
Yes, because I was just about to
Okay.
say,
Yeah.
it'd feel natural to do that. But we've got this wonderful guy sitting here. Was he the next person you kind of seeded this information, or was your friend here? No, it was Hugh.
I think so. I don't remember the exact timing. It was within a month that we had dinner with Hugh and his wife, Lisa. And then Rachel and I had that deeper discussion about Trim
Hugh,
Healthy.
seeing he's sitting here in the middle.
Right.
We need to talk about him. But I'm not really great at names. I shouldn't confess it, but I never forget a face. But names are hard for me. But not Hugh, because it reminds me of the best. Like, he's so famous in my house because my family loves his hummus.
Well, Hugh,
loves.
we might have known you before you knew us. I don't know, but we would all take journeys, people on the hilltop who live here, to the Franklin Farmers Market.
A pilgrimage to the Franklin Farmers Market.
To buy, it's called hummus. It's
Right.
hummus, but it's made by Hugh and his family and I guess employees.
But it's
now.
not regular hummus. Do you say it yourself with the Hebrew kind
Well,
of?
no, here we just
just
say
say the
hummus.
hummus.
'cause-
Okay.
You just say, and is it
As
not
opposed to
hummus? It's just
hummus.
hummus with the UGH.
Yeah, so it's my name, Hughmus,
Yeah.
and it was actually a friend of ours in Israel that came up with it. It wasn't my idea at all.
Well, he makes the best hummus in the world. It has
The world.
It's has that traditional
Thank you.
Middle Eastern flair to it. It does. You know how Chinese food here is different than when you actually go to China and you eat the Chinese food. It is just a whole different ball game. Well, this is very real hummus. Like, from having
Yeah,
gone to Israel
thank you.
myself, it's very real.
And you know what? We
hummus.
talked about your hummus in our new book coming out, Trim Healthy Wisdom, not knowing we'd ever meet you or knowing that you were a Trim Healthy yourself. Did not
Right.
know. So can you tell us?
You all know Jessica Homans, who's a friend of ours, and she knows your family. And she said one day she helps us in the kitchen, and she said, Pearl and Serene are customers of yours. I'm like, what?
It's just so funny.
No, we love it. My favorite flavor of yours is the Holy Ghost hummus,
Yes.
and it's with the ghost pepper, and it's
Mine too.
it's not tame.
If you
I
guys
like
ever
it.
make a trip to the Nashville, Tennessee area, you have to go to the Franklin Farmers Market, go buy Hugh's hummus. Oh, but it's in stores too, right?
Right. We
Locally.
also sell it at Herban Market in
Yeah.
Franklin,
Yeah.
which is an organic restaurant.
And you
so-
have the real za'atar on top, don't you? I just have a memory of that,
we
the real
actually
za'atar.
it comes from our favorite spice store in Jerusalem,
Yeah, it's great.
and people love it. So it's very encouraging. Thanks for saying that. It's really encouraging for us to
No, we didn't know our two worlds were colliding, Hugh. We were
No.
buying your hummus. You were doing our plan. How? So tell us
Yeah,
about.
so Tracy and Blaine invite us over to dinner because they're neighbors now. We've been friends for a number of years, and she pulled the covert thing on us too.
You made a THM meal.
And we were like, this is really good. So I'm a foodie, so I'm like, I started looking at all the ingredients and everything, and I'm like, and we started talking, and she just gave us an overview, and I was dealing with, I weigh my ideal weight, which I always stay within 2 pounds of,
Oh.
Yeah.
is about 160. I'm 5'9",
Yeah.
but I had this 20 to 25 pounds that I could just not shake.
Wow.
No matter what I did, I could starve myself. You know, all the things that people do when they're trying to lose weight conventionally. And she started sharing all this stuff with us, and so we embraced it.
From that night, you just
We
decided.
embraced it wholeheartedly. I will tell you that I am guilty. I'm saying it on air that I go off plan.
Of course you do. So does my husband.
So
I
do you,
go off
girl.
plan,
A
but-
bit of tiramisu on a Mexican
Hey,
trip.
you're not just because you go off plan doesn't mean that you're not on plan. It
No.
just means you choose your own freedom.
Yeah, you've
And-
got to have some vitamin
Yeah, and
D.
we're conscious of the fact that these mechanics, these the whole biochemical dynamic that makes up how our body processes food. Really, when I started, once for a couple weeks, nothing happened. Then all of a sudden, and Tracy was very good about checking in with us. she's so good, and I would just like, I got on the scale. It's like, I don't feel like I'm 4 pounds lighter than what, like a week ago.
Wow.
And, my,
And you know what's not fair, but
sudden.
men
Yeah.
have such a
That's
great
what my wife
resilience.
says.
They do.
Well, you
This
men
is
have more
not
muscle
fair.
mass
Yes.
than women, and so
That's so
those
true.
muscles just eat up the fuel.
Yep.
And
Yes.
so, yeah.
And when you're anchoring everything around protein, you're nurturing those muscles and
Yeah.
So
igniting them.
yeah, the other thing that we
Yeah.
became aware of is, because my wife really deals with this, is if your body doesn't have the protein that it needs to survive, then where's it
Yeah.
going to get that
It's
protein?
crucial.
It's going to
Yeah.
start cannibalizing your muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Preach
So
it, Hugh.
that was
I know.
that was a light bulb went off in Lisa's head.
And muscles are
It's like-
anti-aging organ,
Yes.
right? It's absolutely, they're finding out now that it's an anti-aging organ. It's not just for athleticism, it's for metabolism, it's for anti-aging, and it releases certain chemicals that actually, keep us young.
Yes.
So that
keep
was
our immune system
the
primed.
the whole thing, the whole journey, and just the awareness of course, food is important. Everybody knows food is important. It's like, gotta eat, right? So,
Yeah.
but what you eat and when you eat and how and just how you combine the stuff.
Yes.
It's like, I just want to thank you guys for
Oh, so you kind of dropped those 20 pounds, and it wasn't too hard then.
yeah. So
Men.
I will tell you, we went on a cruise in December
Yeah.
for our anniversary.
I love cruises.
I came back.
so
I have
proud
to
of
try
you.
everything on
Yeah,
a
of
cruise.
course.
I come back, I get on the scale. I'm 13 pounds
Whoa, okay.
over.
Okay, you really went to that buffet, right?
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
did you
it's a good
did you
thing
drop
Lisa's
it?
not
Get back
here.
on plan?
Yes, and within a couple of weeks, I was back to my
Well, it
ideal
sounds
weight.
like it wasn't just
Some good
fat gain; it was
inflammation,
inflammation
water,
gain.
yeah.
Inflammation was a big deal,
Sugar.
because when we flew home, my ankles, I generally don't have any edema, but my ankles were swollen.
You had sugared up, Hugh.
Yeah.
And Lisa's like, I don't want to hear it. You did this. You did it to your...
He got right back
This
up
is
onto his
you.
hummus and
Pay attention.
Oh, when my
Stick to
husband
the
goes on a
plan.
cruise, I'm like, fine, I'll have a couple of the desserts. I'm not going to like limit myself vitamin P for pleasure, but my husband has the everything.
Well, they
Yeah.
actually have a pact between the two of them because
Yeah.
he's not naturally health bent. He's not naturally health minded.
He's the
at all.
opposite.
So, at first she just tried to do the nagging that didn't work right. And then they made a pact. Okay, if we're in Tennessee in the home, I will eat your way. But when we go on holiday, I will eat my way.
And don't say a word.
And so she can't say a word when they're on holiday. So that's the pact, how they, how they keep the
Yeah.
peace.
But he's like you. He eats everything. He takes it off. But
So he likes to go on a lot of holidays.
and that's such a good story, though. And your
Yeah.
wife, what did she experience?
It was a game changer for her energy wise. She's, I would say at this point, just post-menopausal, except for those hot flashes.
Oh yeah.
And but she is so trim and healthy and very conscious of staying on plan,
That's
trying to eat
fantastic.
the right foods, trying to make me make the right foods because I'm the personal chef. So.
You are the hold on. We have to before we get to you, Rachel. We can't just let that go. You're the chef in the house.
Right.
I love that. My son's the chef in his
Wow.
marriage.
So you had to. Did you look through our cookbooks, or did you start creating your own thing once you understood those principles?
In the beginning, it was the cookbook.
Yep.
And then I started just, okay. And I would call Tracey once in a while. Is this an E or an S or
Send
or
me
a
pictures.
You're
fuel
good.
call?
Our
Or
husbands don't
FB?
even
What
know
what
the
is
alphabet
this?
of the THM.
No,
or what it
still,
means.
I've told my husband multiple times, fruit is an E. And then the other day he looked at me, he's like, fruit's an E? It just, he does not want it to sink. But you wanted it to sink. You see, he's got me, but
Yeah. So I mean, we were just talking about salmon I made the other night for my
yum.
grandkids and the family, and because we had corn on the cob with that salmon,
yeah.
all of a sudden it's not.
a nice crossover. Yeah.
It's a nice, but crossovers
Okay.
But
are
I
on
live on
plan.
crossovers, and so crossovers are still on plan. They're just
And especially when you're at that goal weight, you know.
Yeah.
wonderful.
So
They can actually really kind of encourage the metabolism from time to time. Throw them in there. It's just another juggle of the fuels. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm the chef, and I'm the one that gets to pick the menu. I'm like, come on, help me out here, guys. It's like, what do you want to eat? It's like,
What are your favorite meals? If you could give
I'm calling Tracey. She's going to tell me.
So what if you have one breakfast, one lunch, and one dinner that you love to make that is received well by your family and you enjoy making it? What would that be? Like, let's go breakfast. What do you love?
Well, we don't eat breakfast regularly together.
Okay, yeah. So you're just making your own breakfast.
Usually it's eggs
Yeah.
and or a smoothie or something like that.
Smoothie's just so easy.
Yeah.
And our lunch is also the same thing, but my wife is also gluten-free.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not so much gluten-free.
Yeah. I'm not gluten free.
But like dinners, like egg roll in a bowl,
Oh,
the
yeah.
lasagna
Oh,
yay.
with the lasagna with the
The spinach.
or with the zucchini.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. Okay,
So
yeah.
I figured out how to do that well.
And are you a veggie man? Do you like your veggies?
I do.
And you already
Everybody
like
does.
them,
Any guy
obviously. If you're
who
a
creates a
foodie,
brilliant hummus
yeah.
likes his veggies.
That's true.
Come on, do you know
Yeah.
what I did notice when I went to Israel though? The whole country, it seems, likes veggies more than America, like cucumbers, and they just like to eat. I noticed that
Yeah.
they just snacking on cucumbers, like a lot.
Yeah.
They love their veggies. Am I wrong? I mean, do you notice
No,
that? You
it's-
lived over there. I just visit, but
It's a lifestyle. I mean, you don't really see the level of obesity
no.
in Israel that you see.
Yeah.
That's
Here.
the same for many places though. When I was in Italy, I mean, everyone's just walking and they eat pasta, but it's small amounts. And then the same thing in China,
And it's
except for the younger generation in China.
No, but
that-
even when China, when we went, they'd have like 5-course meals when we were on these business meetings. But it was so many greens and so many meats, and it was all cut up in little pieces, and the carbs were very small portions, and usually come at the end of the meal. And that's what you notice at Italy. The pasta was an al dente almost way down the track.
Yeah.
Once you've already had protein and antipasta, like you've had the salad, and so interesting. So this all happened with just a conversation. So this conversation.
conversation over food. Obviously, you invited your
A
friends
dinner.
over to enjoy a meal.
Yes.
Now, obviously, your friends they didn't have obesity, just a few little pounds. But and what was in your head, Tracey, to invite your friends over for dinner
Well,
to
maybe
enjoy
she didn't
a THM?
invite it for them to hear about THM. She was probably just wanting their company. And
I
it
would
happened
like
naturally.
to hear from her.
Anytime we have friends over, although this is a little bit of a disclaimer for any future friends that we have over,
We're
you will
trying
get a trim healthy meal because that's just how we eat.
Yes.
So, and out of that, the meals taste amazing and delicious. So it's just a natural conversation that evolves over, okay, so what is this recipe? I've never had this before. Tell me about it. oh, what? It's what? How does that work? And it's
So
just
you're
kind
just a
of
hospitable person, and then the conversation naturally
Yes.
happens.
And
Yep.
then we come
To
to this
Rachel.
conversation that happened with Rachel,
Yes.
who I fell over when I found out how old she is because she
Yeah.
looks 17. I was like,
Very
there's
kind.
no
No, I thought 37, but you're how old?
no, she
52.
could be
52.
17. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I'm
Thank
not
you.
being exaggeratory.
Yes, we had the conversation because they lived in the same house in a different floor
Oh,
for a while.
that's fun.
And she did share with me. And
Here
I-
in America, or was this over there at the Caleb?
just Thompson Station, yeah.
yeah.
Fun.
Caleb Global House. And so when I remember like looking through, and it just felt so difficult to pair different things. And I was like, I don't know. I'm a foodie too. And so I love certain things. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I just don't think I could do this fully.
And how many years ago was that?
That was about 10 years ago.
Okay, so at that time,
Sometimes the soil's not right.
it wasn't
It
right for
wasn't,
you.
but it was seeds, as Tracey said. And so I think like I never had a problem with my weight.
Yeah.
I lost more weight after every child. And
Yes.
so
You were one of those blessed people that everyone
Yeah.
hates.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was.
Yeah.
And so I got down pretty low and then just stayed at that weight until I hit menopause. And then I was like, oh, what is happening to me? And I pretty much have had every symptom of menopause
Yeah.
and still do. This
Yeah.
is my 5th year.
Oh yeah.
We told you we got something for you coming.
Okay. And so I think like when you shared again with me, it was, and my mom, we were there together.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And I had tried so many things,
Yeah.
and we were vegetarian. My husband was with me in all of this. We tried that for a year. When you shared with me again, I was counting calories at
Okay.
that
Yeah.
point.
That's often where people go in menopause.
Yeah.
They often go to
And
counting
it's not where I
calories.
wanted to go,
No.
but I just felt
It's a
desperate.
desperate. Yeah.
Were you an exerciser your whole life?
Yes.
Okay, so you were still doing that. Nothing had changed, but it wasn't
Right.
working.
Right. I was looking at metabolic
Kind of
exercises.
like what you were doing, Tracy, but it happened to her way later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's very similar.
Because sometimes peri affects women differently, and some can just
Yes.
have more of a dramatic perimenopausal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
she shared again, and I'm like, I kind of remember this, but I just decided I'm gonna go for it because I'm sick of counting calories. I felt hungry all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and I didn't like that.
yeah, it's such an unsettling.
Did you
feeling.
have to get to below like 1,600 calories to maintain your weight to lose, or
Lower than that.
Oh.
Yeah.
ouch.
12.
Oh.
Yeah. is
Oh,
what I
that's
was-
that's like a miserable existence.
It was terrible, but I just.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Goosebumps of
and
horror.
still,
Yeah, because I just love food. So
I know, me too. And still at that, it was still hard to
Yeah.
go low and keep maintaining the low.
And that,
So-
at that point, it's kind of like injury upon injury, because that low you're not maintaining your muscle, and muscle
Yeah.
is the one thing that can help woman in menopause. Like
And-
the thing that you can do without then going to what you can bring into your
And
body.
probably what was
Yeah.
happening to you, which is what happened to me in menopause, is we might be similar body types, kind of smaller. I lost my muscle mass. Despite that I was exercising, didn't matter. My hormones went, and with them my muscle mass
Because they're
went. And I
anabolic
couldn't burn
triggers, yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Right.
burn my food without my muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened when you...
So I went on plant, and I got the book, and
Did you immediately raise your calories? Because Trim Healthy is
well,
definitely
that was so scary.
It's not sparing.
I told her to
Tracy's
stop
like,
counting
"You
calories.
have to stop. I'm
Said,
like,
don't do it.
really? Like, not once. So that was really scary,
Yeah.
actually, at that point, to
Yeah.
stop counting. And I had my first salad with dressing and avocado and some seeds, and I'm like, this feels
Are you sure this is
so
okay?
I'm gonna gain weight. I know.
Wow.
But I just went for it and haven't turned back. It's been amazing. I've
Wow.
gotten back. I'm a little heavier than I was, but it's a
well,
good.
I'm glad
Yeah.
because you're just so
It's
slender.
You better not get any
Yeah.
skinnier, girl,
Yes.
because
It's a good weight, I think,
Yeah.
for my
Hey,
new
don't be a
weight.
bully.
Oh,
as-
sorry. I've been told
I
I'm
don't
a
feel
bull.
shame.
told me off for being a bully before because I was like passionate about it. Something.
Yeah. No, but yes, but you look absolutely, and as we get older too, not that you look older, you look young, but we don't want to get that skinniness
Right.
after we're definitely post-menopause, because
Exactly.
then that ages us and then we don't have muscle. You know, I
Yes.
went through a skinny fat stage too, unknowing just when I went through menopause too, not feeding myself enough. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how do you feel like this is related to your family? Did they notice mummy's happier?
Well,
Happy life, happy wife?
a lot of my kids, like, I only had one kid at home at
Yes.
that point, and so
Yeah.
he would eat whatever I made and
Yeah.
was happy I made food for him.
Yeah.
So he even went vegetarian with us for that 1 year.
Wow,
I mean,
yeah.
he was like, whatever we
That's
made.
so amazing. But did
So-
you notice an uptick in your emotional health and
Yeah.
when just being able to support yourself with proper nourishment? and-
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good change for me and my husband, who joined me every day. And I had an E shelf and an
We
S
need to get the
shelf.
husbands in.
Oh,
yes.
well, hold on. Did you hear? She said she has an E shelf and an
I
S.
know.
For
I
real?
thought that
Yeah.
was brilliant.
Because
That is the most amazing
every
organization.
day my husband's opening going, what can I have? And I'm like, okay, I can't say this every day. I'm going to have these shelves, so he knows if I want to eat an E, I eat whatever's on this shelf.
That
And so
is
it
that's
We need to.
incredible.
We
Isn't
need
that
to.
brilliant?
We need to bring your husband in right now.
He
Can
needs
we-
to talk to our husband. My husband just goes and all he sees is cheese, and that's his.
Well, thank you for your time,
Oh,
and
you're
that was so
welcome.
great. And then we will bring the next man. We will rotate men.
Yes.
We're going to bring Todd, who is Rachel's husband. Come sit in the Richard. What?
No, it's not Richard.
Jordan Peterson,
Peterson
chair.
chair.
This is our Jordan Peterson
That's
chair.
aptly named by our Danny, who usually sits there, and he just feels so smart and intelligent when he
And
sits there.
very
Nice.
superior. Hi,
It-
Todd.
Hi.
So you are Rachel's husband.
Yes, I'm blessed.
Tell us about what happened when this whole THM thing started for you.
Well, I was stoked that she was going to eat more food. 'Cause I kind of have at her mercy. You know, I'm not a foodie, which I'm jealous of. Maybe not jealous, but I would just eat whatever she's doing. So all of a sudden it was like, we're eating more food, we're eating meat
Yeah.
and protein. And so,
Men like that.
yeah, it was awesome. And I did notice, because she is a foodie and because she was depriving herself,
Yeah.
it was hard and mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
I noticed her a lot happier, and especially we do S meals
Yeah.
and the desserts.
Yeah.
I mean, the desserts are my favorite thing of Trim Healthy.
You sound like her
Yeah.
husband. He gets a special dessert smile that he only gives for dessert.
Yeah.
Did you have any weight to lose, or were you kind of just trim it at the time as well?
I did gain more weight, and it was hard to get it off. Yeah, I got up to like 200 pounds, and
But you're tall.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that
obviously
was-
you weren't obese or anything
No.
like that, but you weren't counting calories with her when she was doing that.
No,
so
I
you were just
wasn't.
like manning
Yeah.
food.
And what was that manning food? Was it like whole, clean foods, or was it just a little bit standard American?
fairly clean. She
Yeah.
would buy good stuff,
Yeah.
you know, but I would eat treats. I love sugar.
Yeah.
And I love mixing food. You know,
Yeah.
now that I know, I was like,
Yeah.
I still crave the things together.
Yeah.
But that's all right though, because
Yeah.
crossovers are
Yeah.
a very important part of the plan for some people.
Yeah.
Like I
Especially
have
when
to
you're
live
at goal
on
weight.
them.
You're
Yeah.
obviously at goal weight. All
Yeah.
you guys are at goal
And the
weight.
more people train, the more people get muscle, the more they need crossovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Honey.
So the S and the E
excited.
shelf might
Bread and
start merging. If you have a little too much butter on your bread, like every meal, then your body will tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you do it as much as you can get away with. That's
Yeah.
what I do. As much butter on my bread as I can get away with.
Yeah,
I'll
this
get
is
right back to
good.
the
You
gym.
guys. Yeah, it's not so restrictive. That's what I
No.
liked. And so when she did that, we were eating like really satisfying meals. And
Good.
I noticed I was intermittent fasting, like not
Okay.
eating breakfast. And then when
Yeah.
this plan came, I thought, okay, so I was enjoying eating like oats in the mornings,
Yes.
and I work out usually in the morning. So
Yeah.
I'd feel like that was good for me to give me
Yes.
energy.
Yeah, lean energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we
then
love-
traveling was harder, but somehow we made it work. We'd bring oats with us.
Well,
and-
tell us about your travels,
Yeah.
because all of you guys, you couples, and we're going to meet your husband soon too, Tracey. You guys
yeah.
travel. That's what you do, right? Can you
Mm-hmm.
tell us about the places you visited and how you stay on plan?
Yeah, this last year, in the last 12 months, we went to, Poland, Switzerland, France, Armenia, Israel.
Can we just get in your suitcase?
Cyprus.
Oh my goodness.
But
I
we
love travel.
And then it was like, what do we do? And we heard, I think maybe from the books where it says, you know, like when you go out, just do the S. Just pull out
easier.
a couple of things of bread, and then because it's usually fatty.
Yeah.
So we realized we needed the carb meal
Yes. Oh,
and
yeah.
what we found on
when you're
traveling
traveling a lot, yeah.
is breakfast a lot of times are S.
Yeah.
The eggs and
Yeah.
whatever, it's
Yeah.
easy. And then dinners as well. So we brought oats. We'd bring oats with us.
So good.
Fantastic.
And we brought container to make the oats. We just need hot water. And
Yeah.
so and it was super satisfying. In the
And
middle of the day, it
our
was like, fill us
protein
up.
and our collagen.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we did protein. I
oats.
always bring protein powders. And
Yeah.
Worked great.
So
That's
lunch was
fantastic.
just, you knew that you were going to have that good carb, get you through the day.
And
That's
often
so
I find
smart.
travel, well, I suppose it depends on the countries you go to, but fruit. Sometimes
Yeah.
fruit's unsafe when you go to certain countries.
Yeah.
But
If it's in a restaurant, it's usually
Yeah.
pretty okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so we'd eat fruit with the lunch,
Yeah.
but it worked great. And like we lead tours to Israel, and so
Yeah.
the lunches are always on your own. So we'd save a lot of money. We just have oats.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So what time? So at night you're in a restaurant usually. Are you guys in a restaurant? Yeah, when
Lot
you're
of times,
traveling,
yeah.
and so you're just getting the protein source with a fish, lamb, or they have good
Oh, the
lamb
fish is
over there, right?
Yeah.
too. And, you know,
Yeah.
And
I
then the
love-
veg, really easy, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, but the breakfast, we have to talk
Yeah.
about shashuka. Shashuska, is that what you call it? In Israel?
With
I've
the eggs
never
and
had
the-
it so good as in Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
So
the
good.
feta and the...
Yes.
Oh,
That's my husband's favorite.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
loves that meal.
there is a restaurant it's up somewhere right downtown Jerusalem, and we had shashuka every morning there. I can't remember the name, but it was delightful.
Yeah.
Oh man. So so those few extra pounds, what was it? 10?
Yeah, I would try to lose 10 to 15 pounds. And I was in CrossFit. I do CrossFit every day. And they measured me and they said, yeah, you could lose 10 pounds. I was frustrated because I'm working out.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm eating healthy. And so, and I had a kind of the dad bod, you know. And then I noticed with Trim Healthy, I'm down about 10 pounds.
Yeah, but you
That's-
still got your
you
muscle.
didn't have to intermittent
Yeah.
fast
And you
to
don't
get
have
there.
no dad bod.
Yeah, not as much.
No, there ain't no dad
It
bod
works
there.
And
yeah.
I would always
Okay.
look, am I losing my
Right.
strength? You know, 'cause
Yeah.
you're always doing lifts. and
Yeah.
so I wasn't. So I felt, this has been
fantastic.
great. It's
That is body comp at its finest, right? Just redistribution. And, yeah, I mean, so it was 10 pounds down still, but no loss of muscle.
no loss of my
So
That's
strength.
incredible because
amazing.
with weight loss, you're usually sacrificing what 2 to 3.
You're like for every 3 pounds loss, you're
Yeah.
losing a pound of muscle.
Yeah.
Usually,
Wow.
typically
Wow.
with most programs.
But with
Intermittent
fasting, it's over 50%.
It's over 50% is
Wow.
muscle loss.
That's why it's so dangerous.
Wow.
Men do better on it than women, but
They
it
do.
usually,
I've
it
seen
usually
it.
catches
Yes.
up on them in the end too, because it
Yes.
is eating
Wow.
into their muscle. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's so much. I believe in fasting spiritually, though. I think God covers all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
do
when we're
too.
fasting for our own metabolic health, it just tanks. Yeah.
That's a good point. you know.
Yeah. I believe in spiritual fasting. I'm just not that great at it. So I have to say that too. I've only pulled off one full day in my life, and that was when a life and death situation in my family.
But you have
Other than that-
fasted like, okay, I'm not going
No.
to eat chomping food. I'm going to do
I fasted for
smoothies.
my son Arden, who was battling cancer, and on the worst part of it, when it was just like death or life, I was like, I'm gonna fast. Like it took that to bring
Yeah,
me
but
to
no
fasting.
food. But you have fasted like eating food with a fork. You've done
No, I
smoothies.
smoothie fast. I just fast from chewing.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. We call it liquid fast.
That's good. The liquid's very thick. That's why.
Yeah. You gotta chew the smoothie.
Oh,
that's good.
okay. Well, that is great. So you're not the sous chef. You are just the receiver. So
I'm
Rachel,
grateful.
the foodie, does a great job.
She does an awesome job.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
And you guys have how many children?
4 kids.
Okay.
grandkids.
Were they mostly gone when you started
Yeah,
then? Mostly
they're
out of the
mostly
house?
But they come over when they've
Yeah.
visited.
Oh
and
yeah, and they don't.
They
complain.
know this whole diet. We go into, we're optimizers by nature. We want to like, what's the best?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
best?
I
and we
love
tried
that.
intermittent,
Yeah,
vegetarian, because
yeah.
we watch a documentary.
Yeah.
We're like,
Always
okay, we'll try it.
contending.
Yes.
But this has been, so our kids at first were like, oh, they're doing another crazy thing. And then now they see the results and they appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay,
and my
and then
daughter
you-
has the book too.
Oh,
So
really? And then
she's-
you got
yep.
your brother on plan,
My
right?
brother,
Speaking
yeah.
of the 4 degrees and Kevin Bacon, whatever it is.
Yes.
didn't get
So my brother and
know.
his family, he has 2 kids, and they're in LA, and they do commercials every week, and so they have a lot of travel time as well. And the food on set is horrible for kids.
Yeah.
It's just all sugar and just not good food. And so it really affects the kids. And so since they've been on plan, they went for it, and it's really changed their whole family. It's kept them all trim, because you have to be that way on set for things and in commercials, and they love it. My brother is also the chef and loves to cook and loves to bake your cakes and all the
stuff
things
we don't know about.
I know,
that's happening.
but you know,
It's
another
amazing.
thing I probably that they've noticed too is, you said they've got their little ones on it too.
Yeah,
But
teenagers.
the teenagers.
Now
I was
they
going
are,
to say, if they're younger, and that the attitude and when children crash or spike on their sugar or blood sugar all the time, it's very hard to.
It's hard.
I find that the whole behavioral things can clear up a lot when you're balancing.
Hey, so
the
when
sugar.
you said they do commercials, the teenagers do, and they manage
whole
them, or the
family.
whole family does commercials
Yep,
together.
that's
They are
amazing.
the talent.
They're all
They're
actors.
all
They're
actors.
actors.
Yeah.
As a family, how
Yeah.
amazing! Well, I saw a picture. Nate showed me. They're very beautiful people.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
very, very much.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It's fun. And my mom as well is trying her best to stay on plan. But it's fun because we all swap recipes and, hey, let's try this. And we all like calculate things. And is this on plan? And it's been really fun.
Do you feel proud when you hear it, Tracey? Because
Yes.
that's removed even further degrees, right?
I
The
love
brother
it.
and the
And there's
the
got to
I
be an
love it. I
encouragement.
love that ripple effect.
Yeah, to
of
those
what
out there
happens
that,
with
you know, to share that conversation, because you never know how it's going to affect somebody's life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have
Yeah,
to bring
exactly.
in.
We need to replace
Yeah.
the man here.
Right.
Goodbye, Todd. Thank you. You did well.
Blaine, it is, right?
Yes.
That's so fun.
So you are Tracey's husband. Tracey is really this star here who has like
She is
caused
always the star.
Yes. So you have been on for years then, because Tracey is one of our veterans.
Yeah, I've been on for years, and Tracey did a little bit of the thing that she talked about earlier with the boys. You know, she just didn't say a whole lot to me, just
Yeah.
feeding me, and I
That's
grew
so
into
smart.
it, and finally fully embraced it. And I think some of the things that really made the difference for me is like she would every now and then I'd have a meal and be like, "That was amazing." She goes, "Did you know I put a little okra in there?" I'm like, "No."
You dared to tell the secret.
It's
That's
amazing.
brave.
So I've just gotten to the point now. She's
Yeah.
just like, "Why don't we try this?" I'm like, "Great," because honestly, everything that's made is amazing. So,
So you just have a trust factor now.
I have a trust factor. It can sound crazy to me, and I'm like, "Do it," because everything he makes fabulous. So we just do it.
Did you have a weight problem at all, or no? You just
You know, like Todd shared,
Yeah.
you know, started, you know, get a little older, you start getting the dad bod. We've got 3, you know, now adult young men, and one is a CrossFit trainer, another one lifts, he's a beast, the other one climbs and lifts. So I got to keep up a little bit, you know, and, you know, so they start teasing a little bit about the dad bod, and I'm like, I better do a little more than what I'm doing right now. And so fully embracing this and getting back into exercising has been fabulous.
I think it's fun for the younger children to see their parents still contending. You know, I know that my husband's just started getting into exercise in the last 4 years, but his sons are so proud of him. You know, it's like it's fun to just do that together. The generations doing health and fitness together.
Yeah. With 3 young men, it's either get better or die. So,
Yeah.
you know, I got there.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Now, my background a little bit, I was saying about this over there, just hearing the stories and stuff. There was a time, I hope this doesn't hurt you too much, a minimum of 4 liters of Mountain Dew a day.
Yeah.
Whoa!
and a
Hold on. Hold
Well,
on.
my husband was a
Hold
fizzy
on.
drink
4
drinker.
liters.
For 20 years. So my youngest
Yeah, it was
son
really bad.
did the math. It was somewhere around 34 to 36,000 gallons of Mountain Dew.
Amazing.
So Mountain Dew.
It was the Mountain Dew, so it was almost an addiction because you had the particular brand that
100%.
you loved.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nick's
for sure.
2,000 calories a day. Wow. And I don't remember how
We
many
have an incredible
grams of-
metabolism then to
It's
survive
crazy.
that.
Well, I would pair that with a full-size Entenmann's Danish.
So all you
So
had was
gone-
You're a
sugar.
freak of nature
This
to have
was
survived.
college
I know.
years.
That's
Just
So
amazing.
I've
to
gone from
clarify.
that
Yeah.
to THM.
No.
So you
That's
weren't.
amazing.
You didn't have a healthy, bent and bone and like. No, you gone. Wow, that's an
Yeah.
extreme.
Extreme. But Tracy's passion is she loves health. Like, not like for other people to be healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, physically healthy, relationally healthy.
Yay.
So in all those things, she researches and looks and then with that, freedom.
Yeah.
And THM works so good because you get healthy, but there's freedom. You're not tied into, you got to buy your food, you got to do certain, like, no, you just need to know how to pair the right foods, and it's sustainable for life.
We need to put
It's
him
great.
on the road and
do.
then just,
Yes.
you guys take over.
I got a couple of extra hours from Caleb. You can have.
That's so good. But you are an RN, aren't you? Is that what you are? A
Yes,
nurse?
and
Yes.
a family nurse practitioner.
Oh, you're a nurse
So
practitioner.
it just made sense.
That's
that
amazing.
That's always been a passion of mine.
Yeah.
But now with this, I feel like I can just offer people so much more.
So you being an RN and being into health, and it's always been your bent. Was that difficult when you were married to the Mountain Dew guy?
Oh, for sure. Yes. I disliked those years very much, and we tried very hard. Now, it was before I knew about Trim Healthy and all of that as well. Mostly it was his college years.
Yeah.
So,
but your desire was still there even before Trim Healthy to be a healthy person,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes, for sure.
And was it, let me ask you this, husbands, aside, just treating people here in the United States, with the problems with the, type 2 and the obesity epidemic, was that so very frustrating and hard? And what did you used to tell them?
Yes, it was extremely hard. And that is one of the reasons why I stopped practicing.
Oh, wow.
Probably back in 2008, after 16 years of being in ICU and family nurse practitioner, I just became very, very frustrated with that whole system of everything. Giving people pills, not being able to really help them. It just seemed like this endless cycle of diseases and a disease process that I felt helpless. I was just putting Band-Aids on things, and it was so frustrating.
That's interesting because I think some people can do it, but it bothers others more than some. It depends upon your unique personhood. But like, Rashida, our niece who wrote Trim Healthy Future, her husband is a PA. And he was dealing with the same thing, and it really psychologically, was very hard for him. He does pediatric work now because it's, you can tell people to help, they give them ideas and tips to, fix their lifestyle, but you only have those few minutes.
Right.
And
exactly.
And really them to come back over and over it just really hurt his heart.
Yes. Yes, very much so. It was a very frustrating process to not be able to, one, spend more time with patients because that time got shorter and shorter over the years. Yeah. And just realizing that every 3 months is not nearly enough time to do those well checkups and those check-ins.
But now you get to have people around your dinner table and spend all of these hours to share.
Exactly.
Yes.
I love it so much more, and I feel like I can offer so much more.
Yeah.
So,
so what about when you guys go overseas for all your ministry and but you're not seeing the same, are you seeing not the same need for, I guess, nutrition when you see people groups over there? Obviously, you probably speak different languages. Or is like we said, in China and Israel, there's not the same obesity
There's a lot
problems.
of smoking over there. That's what I think.
Yes.
Do you ever share with people overseas too? Or is it not the same necessity, I guess is what I'm asking.
I feel like there have been several times over our travels that we've been able to share the concepts of Trim Healthy and how that works and how it can benefit their bodies, and even within a different cultural context, an international setting. But I know that we've had conversations over the years because they're noticing how we're eating. That's the big thing. Is usually when we have people into our homes or when we're out eating, wherever it is, we just eat different.
So I want to hear how you guys eat when you travel. We heard, how Todd and Rachel eat. So how do you, what is your secrets when you travel? because I think it's going to help lots of people, because some people think, oh, I'm all right in the safety of my own kitchen, but when I walk out of my door, I feel vulnerable and I feel like I'm just going to have to give it up while I'm out. Yeah.
Yes. We do something very similar to what Todd and Rachel do when we travel, selecting more of the S foods for breakfast and dinner, but then we also take the protein powders, protein bars, things that I know are on plan and will help me feel like I'm doing okay in an international setting. I think that part of it is important when you travel, that your body kind of has that reassurance that there's something that you can bring with you that's familiar and controllable. Controlling the circumstances that you can, where you can, I think is important. But also the big thing that I tell a lot of people who do trim healthy and travel is that when you come home, it is just so easy to bring yourself back on plan, to do those deep S meals and cleanse your body from whatever was happening when you were traveling on the cruise or wherever, and just do those to cleanse your body of all that and just reset. And it happens so fast.
I have to ask you a question, Blaine, because you were kind of a sugar-aholic. Can you partake of a little vitamin P and have a little treat, or do you feel like if you go back to sugar, it kind of undoes you?
No, that's a great question. No, I don't have any of those problems really anymore in that way. Now, we just didn't do a whole lot of like desserts and things like that, so I was fine with that. And Tracey wasn't all that excited in the evening to come home after dinner and bake and things like that. Now it's totally different. She's always baking. And the big thing for her was finding a sugar substitute for me that I liked. And we got into the monk fruit. And that's a game changer.
I love the monk
She's
fruit.
making all kinds of stuff now. And I love it. So I'm eating all kinds of desserts and stuff.
So you just feel fully satisfied then. Sweet tooth, tick.
Everything.
Hearty
The big
meals,
thing's
tick.
salt for me. Salt snacks, I gotta have salt. So I just simply now, if I don't know exactly what we're doing for dinner or something like that, I just simply ask her, "Am I having nuts or am I having pretzels?"
Oh, great! I love it.
Boom! I'm
So you
taking
do like
care of.
sprouted pretzels and things like
Yeah,
that.
it's fabulous. It just works out really well.
love it.
I love hearing men's take on things.
It's always more simple.
It is.
It's just simple.
It's very
Just
practical.
We,
It's very
we were
simple.
on a man's podcast the other day who does our plan, and he explained it to us so
Because
well.
forever we've had, our business heads say, girls, you just need to get your plan in 2 sentences so that, we can put it out there and it, boom, people can understand. Or not understand all the nuances, but pretty much the simple, put it in a nutshell. And we couldn't do it. And this guy, he had it in like 10 words.
Yeah, he said, on Trim Healthy, I get to eat all the stuff, but I get to stack the stuff in the right way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
And I think
people
it was
ask
slightly
me.
profound, but it was like that.
I
People
messed
ask
up,
me
but-
too, and we have different conversations. And I just look. Here's the bottom line: you don't mix fats and carbs in the same meal. And where's your protein?
Yeah,
That's
We
great.
just do that. And when you talk about being, in different nations and things like that, oftentimes buffets is where you end up and stuff like that. And I'm unsupervised at times, so I've got to take a look at that. And it's easy. I just go, okay. And a lot of times in international foods, the sauces are the thing that hurt us. Because we mix all the stuff in the secret sauce, right? To make all of our meals so delicious for Americans. You go other places and they don't have necessarily those kind of sauces. So I just know I can have my meats. Or I can have my carbs and just make the selections even when I'm unsupervised.
Yeah. I love that.
We call it going rogue.
Supervised or unsupervised.
That's good. Oh, these are good men.
Yeah, they
Yes, I'm
are.
not sure about our husbands when they're unsupervised.
So one thing I was really curious about, because I saw on a previous podcast, Pearl, you mentioned that you were starting to lift heavier during like menopausal things where we need to build more of our muscle. And so I've been on lots of different kinds of exercise programs and things, and burst training, and I did do a lot of heavy lifting before, and my muscles got too big, and so I kind of steered away from that, and I started running and just doing bursts. But what is your take like on that period of time where you do need to start keeping your muscles built up more. And
So can I ask you, how long ago was it when you felt like your muscles were getting too big?
that would be a year ago.
Okay.
And I did a whole year of this one exercise, and my muscles were bulking.
Yeah. And you didn't like the look of that?
I didn't like the look of
right.
it.
Because there are ways of lifting heavy where you can just kind of choose where you want to build muscle, and because I can respond really quickly too.
Yeah.
So I would only work out my thighs in a way. I didn't want to be gladiator thighs, but I wanted them to be, strong and enough bulk, because they're incredible burners, right? It's a big muscle group. But there are other muscle groups like the glutes that are even a bigger bank of muscle tissue. And I don't think that looks masculine, to build that area. And so I would choose kind of feminine areas where I would want to build and focus on that still really made our bodies a burning fuel body. Yeah.
Yeah, well, for me, I don't respond super well to training. Now, some people do, so it's taken me so long and I don't look like I've got much muscle, but I do have a lot more because I can burn through food now so much better, and I'm stronger and I can lift more. But that took me a long time. So we are all different. And I think I've done the same thing as Serene, because I kind of followed in her footsteps, where we didn't go for the big traps and the big quads and the big gladiator body, but we just really focus on those glutes and shoulders, things like that. So I do believe pecs. I do believe in lifting heavy for women in challenging pausal seasons.
And if I had to choose, I would rather get a little bulkier on the muscles and be able to eat.
Yeah.
And to be able to be strong, because muscles are your power as you age. They're your posture. They are anti-aging. Like they really support your immune system.
But I think there's ways you can do it.
And can I just say something just about supporting your immune system? They found out now too, even people post-cancer, that one of the best things they can do to extend their life is to get as strong as they can and build as much muscle as they can, because that is now their immune system.
Yeah. Wow.
But I can understand, not wanting to get bulky, and some women do respond, a few. And I bet that you weren't bulky, but you probably thought that you were bulkier, maybe. But that's up to the individual.
But it was also a mindset too for you, because you've now decided to embrace a stronger look than a lighter, elongated
but I
look.
still don't even know how to get bulky because of my body type. It's very hard for me. So if it's easier for you, were you doing heavy that it was less than like 10 reps?
It was more than 10 reps.
Okay, so you were in hypertrophy, not necessarily just
Strength.
Yeah.
Strength doesn't get you that big, and that's lower. Hypertrophy is between 12
and
and
you know what
15
you
reps.
can do is just, I would still, you could sometimes take weights down
But
a little bit,
there are
or do
programs.
less days,
Yeah,
maybe
but
2
you
days
take the
instead of
weights
4.
down too much and you're not building anything. You're just lactic acid burning. I mean, you can get a pound.
What is that weight? Like
Well,
that you
it
would
depends on the person, right? But I would say follow a program. Like I've followed Brett Contreras. He's not a believer or anything, but he's an incredible science guy when it comes to muscles. And he has whole programs that are just for certain areas so that women don't have like the gladiator thighs and things like that.
But Serene, like she will bulk up a lot in her arms and shoulders, and she doesn't want to more than she is. So she keeps that to a minimum in her workouts.
I just throw in a couple of
Yeah.
arm exercises every few days. I don't really have a full day for arms.
Because she knows she will, but then she
see.
does focus on those glutes. And I don't know if you've seen our workout videos that we did.
no.
So we did a
Not
whole...
the work-ins, but the new ones.
No, the new ones. I did push 25 and she did strong 45. They're all really glute focused.
Okay.
So they build a very feminine body, but a very strong body.
That's great.
Both of ours, but mine are only 25 minutes. Hers are 45 minutes. And so, I would look into that because there are many workouts for women there that do build more of a gladiator body. And Serene and I have kind of been determined not to do that. But some women are like that. It depends what you want,
I'm not. I mean,
Some women are all about the guns and the big lats
they
and
feel
all
feminine that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel strong.
true.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though. So what are you doing now for exercise then?
Mostly burst training, just the fast and then rest.
And do you keep
fast.
it short Burst training,
It's short.
good, because in menopause, like long sessions of burst training, like over 20 minutes, is
Yeah.
too much cortisol. Yes.
Yeah, mine's 15, and
Oh,
then I
great.
might do a
Yeah.
run, a little,
Yes.
nothing major.
Right, because when our estrogen tanks, that is actually, you know, it kind of it protects us from stress. Estrogen
Yeah.
protects us from stress, and when that goes, we
Yeah.
experience more of a cortisol spike. And then once the cortisol is spiking, kind of redistributes weight to the middle, and
What about Tracey? What do you do exercise-wise? What do you love to do?
I'm still doing your work-ins.
Oh, you do? Okay, great.
I'm the faithful one with the
Well,
work-ins.
you obviously look fantastic with them. And you know, I still do work-ins too. I have graduated to lifting a bit heavier than them.
Yeah.
But do you do kettlebells in them like Serene?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I do. Yeah, actually, I'm thinking about doing the one from the new one
Yeah.
that you guys are doing, just because I want some more creativity
Yeah.
Yes.
in what I'm doing.
I think you
And-
can intersperse them.
Yeah.
Like I'll do one of my push 25s. I'll go back to work-ins. They work beautifully together.
Yes.
Work-ins
Yes.
are a nice foundation, but I think like late 40s and into 50s, really contending for muscle.
Yes.
You know, and maybe sometimes, like Pearl said, people have to know where they want to be,
Yeah.
and if they don't want an incredibly muscular body, then they shouldn't do that. But there is that decision about, you know, anti-aging and metabolism and muscle putting weight on those bones, which keeps osteoporosis away. And so there's many
Yes,
reasons to
because
build
we
muscle.
don't have the estrogen telling us to put the minerals in the bones
Right.
or the testosterone after menopause, so we have to lift heavy, which it does the same thing. It says, hey, minerals, you deserve minerals.
Once I started focusing on muscles, now I have to eat crossovers. If I don't eat crossovers, I just shred.
And that will not be the case for every person.
Right, but what it
Yes.
says, it allows you to eat more fuels, and it allows you to
Absolutely.
have that butter on the bread more often.
Yeah. So true.
Yes.
So, well, man, you guys have been amazing. This whole like local friendship things here. I don't know if you have any insights, Tracey, as we all leave. Where do people find out about you? Do you do much coaching to other people? Is it just your intimate friends that you coach, or?
I do. I have my profile on your website, so
Okay.
people can find me there.
Tracey Kimball.
Yep. So they can find my profile there and my contact information. That's probably the best way to do it. I also have an Instagram, Trim with Tracey.
Oh, I love that.
They can follow or
Yeah.
request to follow.
What do
So
you
I
put on
things
your
there.
Instagram? Do you put little recipes or?
I usually, mostly the foods that we're eating.
Okay.
I
love
started off with just some principal foundations, just to kind
Yeah.
of get people's interests peaked a little
Yes.
bit and maybe provoke some conversation
Yeah.
on there a little bit. But then mostly it's just the foods that we're eating and just tantalizing people with pictures
Yeah, I
and
love that.
descriptions and just seeing how people feel about that, comments, that kind of thing. So
Yeah. Do you mostly do one-on-one coaching with people, or do you have groups, or?
I've done both.
Yeah.
And I actually really enjoy the group coaching.
you?
It's been a lot of fun. I had some family members that wanted to do it on Blaine's side. And so they're all in different states.
Yeah.
And so we just did it online. We did a Google Meet and just went through a couple weeks of going through the plan and how to do it. And it was a lot of fun.
What do you do for someone that's brand new and maybe they're coming from a sugar lifestyle? And what's the first thing you get them to do so they feel like they're having a win when they come to Trim Healthy?
That's a really great question. I think probably just giving them alternatives to what that sugar was doing for them.
So it's the sugar.
I think
yes.
that's really, really important because if they feel like they're going to be giving up all of this sugary stuff that's been such a part of their life,
yeah.
that's the first thing that I feel like we really need to tackle and
Right.
feel like they have success and a similar taste profile
Yeah.
that would be satisfying for them.
Right.
So it's not don't eat sugar, no to sugar. It's more like, hey,
Yes.
try this instead.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And making sure that they have snacks with them.
Yes.
Because that's the easiest place that you can get off plan. When
Yeah.
you're out running errands, it's taking longer than you thought it would, and you're just going to grab something because your blood sugar's plummeting.
Right.
So making sure that they
Yeah.
have something with them
Yeah.
that would be a healthier option for satisfying that craving.
I think you're so right on about the snacks. I think that's the undoing of so many people.
Yes.
I think so. But I
they're getting
think the
hangry
thing
and-
where she's getting to with mindset is such a big thing.
Yes.
You know, from the start of this plan, it was all about celebrating rather than denying.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
when we get into that
Yes.
deny stage, I'm going to be a trim healthy mum and I can no longer eat sugar. It's not
Exactly.
really that. It's going to be, I'm going to be a trim healthy person.
And I can have cake for breakfast
Yeah.
if I jolly well want to.
That's right. That's the best part.
Because it feels like when people have to get rid of their sweet, it's almost like they have to get rid of their happiness.
Yes.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's not just food you're taking from me, it's
Yes.
emotion.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
very deep for some people.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure to have you out.
Thank
having
you
good
so
old
much.
locals.
So much. We will all
We
now
love
keep in
this.
touch.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.